Side to side and a rhythmic break.
Pig is a 2021 American drama film that is co-written and directed by Michael Sarnoski. Living alone in the wilderness, a truffle hunter returns to Portland to find the person who stole his beloved pig. Fuck it, keep it, I'm done. Now, I've seen critics and audiences' opinions about this film, and it's all mixture. It's all over the place. Some good, some bad. And by me watching it, I finally seen this film because it's kind of hard for me to avoid this. I've seen trailers of it, previews, and advertisements of this film. So by me watching it, by me experiencing it, this is just my own vision of what I think about this film. And it's not good. Look, if you love this film, regardless if you're a critic or if you are just one of the audiences that just love Nicolas Cage and you just love everything he fucking does, I just have to just let you know right now to please hit that dislike button because you're not gonna like what I'm about to say. But again, this is just my opinion, okay? I'm open-minded to when it comes to criticism and people's opinions. So let's get this out of the way. I'm going to address this on two aspects. First is the audience aspect. Now, for the audience, well, majority of the audience who have watched the trailer and you've seen John Wick and you see the John Wick material in this movie because an animal has been missing and you want to see the revenge cycle play a part in this film due to the action, due to the blood and gore. I just want to let you know right now, you need to sit your ass down before you waste your fucking money because this movie has very, very little action. Aww. I'm just going to say it like this. No one dies in this film. Aww. There's no deaths. So if you're expecting like an action film or like full rage Nicolas Cage characters, calm down. It's not here. It's not here at all. The movie is like, I'm just gonna have to just say it. This movie is a false advertising. I'm sorry, I bit my tongue earlier, and it's gonna be kind of hard for me to use words that I need to use. So please bear with me on that, okay? But yeah, like the movie, by me seeing the trailer, I was expecting this to be like a John Wick adaptation. I mean, they've done that with Riders of Justice. They've done that with a lot of other films, but the difference is with the Riders of Justice, they have done great with the pacing and the cinematography and the dialogue, certain things that John Wick had lacked. And with Pig, this movie doesn't focus on any aspect other than the acting and the dialogue and the cinematography. Everything else falls flat. There's no action. So I'm having to say it like right now, for the audience that's seen this trailer and you expecting this to be an action film, you need to watch something else. Watch a better movie because you are going to be gravely disappointed. I was gravely disappointed. Now, for a critic standpoint, because by me being a critic, I still wanted to see where everything went when it came to, I want to see how everything fell in place. By me watching the trailer, by me having a thought process method of what this movie is going to be due to the trailer, a lot of us expecting this movie to be like this. Now, I don't mind when the movie is about something else, just as long as if the movie is successful. But that's when the audience and the critics is at risk, because when something falls in place and it plays out another way, we're coming in washing away what we're expecting, and we're hoping to get pulled in another way. With Pig, I had to wash the whole action aspect away due to me being a critic, and I was like, you know, what else can this movie do for me to be pulled in? This movie is boring. This movie is painfully boring. Now, I have reviewed bad movies. I have reviewed a lot of bad films. And two of the main bad films that I reviewed that people still talk about towards this day is Insidia and Climax. But I might have to give this movie praise because it has done something that Insidia and Climax didn't do, and that was to put me to sleep. I had an 8-hour sleep, and it still was managed to make me be unconscious. It is that freaking bad when it comes to the pacing. It takes a long while to get there, and then when it gets there, it doesn't pay off. This movie is not focused on him getting his pig back and being on the verge of violence. This movie is focused on him getting his pig back when it comes to reasoning with people. When it comes to him trying to see things their way, but by him convincing others, look, I just want my pig back. I don't mind that, and that's where the acting comes in. Good acting, good dialogue. And you know what? I see where the budget went. I do see where the material and where the money has gotten into this film. I do. Look, this movie has done great with the cinematography. There were some scenes in the film that I was like, wow, that looks amazing. And I'll watch this in Ultra HD. This movie has done good when it comes to the acting, the dialogue, and the cinematography. Three things that John Wick has kind of failed to do. I have cared more about the pig than I did with John Wick's dog. And I wish that they gave us more chemistry with the pig as well. But how everything fell in place, how everything was executed was terrible. It dragged. And the sad part about it is there was no payoff. It's just, picture this movie. This is what this movie is. With good acting, good actors, but with a bad film. It's like a good chef making a bad dish. You're waiting for this good chef to make something, to whip something up, but at the same time when he gives it to you, you taste it. After all that time waiting, the payoff was terrible. That's how this film is. And to prove this, and I hate it when people says that the movie is good because of the acting. The movie is great, phenomenal because of the acting. Just because it has good acting does not mean that it should be a good fucking film. I don't understand why this movie has so much good praise because of the acting. Same thing with The Green Knight. The Green Knight is one of the worst films I've seen this year. I may get disliked now, but The Green Knight is one of the worst films I've ever freaking seen. That's because it focuses on the acting and the dialogue alone and the cinematography, but that should not be enough to make a fucking film. What about the pacing? What about the execution? What about how everything falls in place? You start from the acting. That's where you start from. You don't get a gold medal just because, well, they do get awards, but at the same time, how about how everything plays a part? Because let's just be frank here. With Pig, there's no memorable acting. With Nicolas Cage's character, with Alex Wolff's character, they did good, but not to the point where no one could take their place. Anybody could have took Nicolas Cage's place. Anybody could have took Alex Wolff's place. Nicolas Cage's character, he talks about certain things about him being homeless and stuff, but at the same time, I did not come here for that. I wanted how things were going to fall apart. Rotten Tomatoes, this is the last time I'm going to take your advice on anything when it comes to giving movies good scores. You start from acting, and you're going to give it a high. What the fuck is it doing being that high of a rating? You tell me if this movie is better than John Wick. Let's just get this out of the way. For those who have seen John Wick 1 through 3 and seen Pig, which one you think is better? When it comes to the acting, yes, it beats John Wick 10 times fold. When it comes to the dialogue, yes. But what about the important things? The action. The execution. How everything falls in place. The pacing. You can act your fucking head off on a film. But I feel like if you can't execute it correctly to the point where we're still pulled in, then you're going to lose us. And that's the problem. Nicolas Cage doesn't even find this fucking pig. After he finds out that the pig is dead and gone, he goes back home and he lays down and goes to sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking spoil the fucking film for you because you're not gonna fucking see it. You're not gonna see it. This movie fails to even be enjoyable. I've seen films that people gave bad reviews to, and I've seen the material, but this film is just a cash grab in my opinion. Same thing with The Green Knight. Like the movie, I'm really talking down on this film, but yeah, I was not entertained watching this film at all. I was getting put to sleep in the film because of how everything was. It was just terrible. And if you got money like that to watch a film and you're just curious about this film, if you're watching this review, please give this movie a hard pass. This is not even Nicolas Cage at his best. And I thought, damn, the color out of space was bad. I'd rather watch that than watch this, because at least it shows Nicolas Cage's acting ability here. On this film, you barely get any of that. I'm gonna have to give Pig, oh my god, I'm gonna have to give Pig a D-. Acting shouldn't be what carries a whole film from start to finish. It shouldn't be, because you're laying everything on the table for the actors. What about the directors? What about the producers? What about the writers? I feel like you have one good actor, but if he is alone in this journey, then you're putting the whole movie at risk. So I feel like you need to do a better job with the pacing. Cut certain things off of the film that is not necessary. There's a lot of unnecessary scenes on this film. You have critics. I need to separate this from critics from audiences, because you have critics that, well, critics from critics, because you have critics that rate things from what makes them love films. You have the hardcore critics that go by the acting alone. You got critics that will give a good rating to a film just because of the acting, and that's it. See, that's where you get suckered in. If you like a film with acting, that's great. But that's like liking music because of the lyrics. When it comes to movies like Pig and all those other films that pulls you in thinking that it's going to be an action film, you pull us at risk. And that's the problem with this film. And not only that, but it drags continuously. I tried not to be too long with this review, but it was too much to render. Anyway, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for more of my upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher. You guys have a damn good day.